15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everyone, for another video of American Stock FPL. This time we'll be going over match day 3. In this video we'll be talking about how our teams did in match day 2, a review of match day 2. Then we'll have Jason has a special wild card for match day 3. As always, we'll also have our limitless recommendations, kind of like our dream team. And then I'll talk about our plans for match day 4, a quick preview on that as well. Jason, how'd you do match day 2?
It wasn't the greatest week. I had a red arrow, went from about, I think, 42k to like 62k. So could have been worse, but could have been a lot better, I think.
Yeah, 60. I mean, I'll take that. Obviously, UCL fantasy is quite different than your typical Bundesliga or FPL where you get more games. Currently, I'm sitting at I want to say in the 400Ks. Overall, a 52-point week for me. Again, before we go forward, we just like to say, you know, we're proud to be part of the Fantasy Football Scout Academy. You guys can check out their link below. They all, in addition to FPL, they also have UCL fantasy content, so check them out too. Great articles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so just going over match day 2, Bayern Munich kind of sealed it late over Lokomotiv. Excellent win from them. Kimmich with a goal. He seems on form right now because he also had an assist in the midweek. Speaking of on-form players, Joao Felix, he also impressed with a brace, not only against Salzburg but also in the weekend too. He had a it seems like he is on penalties. He missed one and he made one. Well, actually, he made one and then he missed one. But he's been red hot on fire for Atletico in his second season in that support striker role. Inter Milan, there's probably the biggest game going to match day 3 against Real Madrid, or one of the biggest. They really did not impress against Shakhtar. A good amount of chances, they just couldn't finish. It's going to be a real interesting game against Real Madrid away. Lukaku is injured, so something to note. Speaking of kind of health, KDB was back. Man City's kind of rolled against Marseille. Raheem Sterling had a goal and an assist. And then they also won in the weekend. KDB had an assist. And then Borussia Mönchengladbach and Real Madrid. They had an incredible game last week, the 2-2. Real Madrid came back for the tie. Karim Benzema, he's on form as well. I expect big things from him against Inter Milan. And then Lilian Thuram's son, he's been red hot and probably Mönchengladbach's best player this season. Liverpool, they did bench their starters, Salah, Mane, Firmino, but at the same time, their summer transfer, Jota, has been very impressive. I would not be surprised if he starts in the Champions League or even is the preferred over Firmino in that front three. And it's also interesting to note, with Jota's playing, we see Salah in that 9 role and then Mane moved to the right. So someone to take a look out at. Jason, tell me a little bit about what you saw in the rest of the match day too.
All right, so Duvan Zapata had a brace, seals the draw with Ajax. I think a key here is Josip Ilicic started his first match in many months. And really, I think he had a big impact on the match. He also had a pretty big impact on Papu Gomez. And for fantasy players who have Papu Gomez in their team, it was probably not a good thing because Ilicic is taking up a lot of those creative positions that you see Papu in a lot. Papu still created a lot, was involved, but not to the same extent as he was previously. So I think that's a big watch out for your Atalanta assets. Moving on, PSG rebounded from their loss in the first week. Still weren't entirely convincing to me. And big news there is Neymar got injured. Looks like he's going to be out for a month or so. So I'm kind of a little sour on PSG right now, especially with 2 fixtures against Leipzig coming up. Mbappe was rumored to have like a thigh injury. We think he's fine. He just got rested, so he'll probably be good to go. But I'm kind of nervous about them both offensively and defensively right now. They just haven't quite looked right. So if you're on a wild card or limitless, I'm kind of backing off them right now. One of the big matches of day 2, Barcelona beat a very lackluster Juventus team. I think Juve desperately need Cristiano Ronaldo back, who did return on the weekend and had a brace as a sub. So I think the reinforcements are already on the way. Barca have been pretty bad in the league so far this year, but that has not truly translated to Champions League as they've had 2 very nice wins so far in Champions League. So here's to hoping that form kind of continues as they go into match day 3. Manchester United had a huge win against RB Leipzig, 5-0. As a United fan, even I didn't imagine that in my wildest dreams, but it happened. One thing I'll note on Man United, they now have 6 points from their first 2 matches and have 2 relatively easy fixtures in game week 3 and 4. And with Everton coming up in the league this weekend, I could foresee some rotation in that team. So although I was pretty happy with the performance from a fantasy perspective in Champions League, I'm a little wary that they might rest some assets. So that's just kind of a watch out on them right there. Borussia Dortmund delivered again. Haaland goal, Sancho assist. Overall, solid win. Dortmund haven't really hit high gear yet this year from what I've seen. They've been kind of a little hit and miss. Not winning. They're getting the results, but they're not entirely convincing all the time. But then on the other end of the spectrum, Chelsea absolutely smashed Krasnodar, who I believe was severely undermanned as well. But either way, Chelsea, now that they have Mendy in net, their clean sheet potential is a lot better. Plus, when they play 3 at the back, that really kind of shores up any defensive weaknesses they have. One interesting thing about that match was Jorginho missed a penalty kick, got subbed off, and then Chelsea earned another penalty kick, which Timo Werner stepped up and delivered. I think after the match, Lampard didn't really fully back Jorginho as the penalty taker of the future. Just kind of talked up that they had numerous players who can step up and do it. So I know Jorginho is a pretty popular pick. He's on penalties and he wins a lot of balls. But I would be very wary of him going forward with those comments from Lampard, because if he's not on penalties, that significantly reduces his appeal in this game.
Mm-hmm. And then, we are just kind of speaking about worries over rotation risks. Something to think about too is Bayern play Dortmund next in the Bundesliga, and then Liverpool play City next. Is that correct? Right?
Yeah, Liverpool City.
So I mean, these are both teams that have wins in the Champions League, 6 points. So there might be a lot of rotation this match day. I'm not certain of.
Yeah, it's a little worrying for sure for those teams that have 6 points and then a tough weekend match.
Exactly. And then just another thing about Atalanta would be Ilicic did get rested over the weekend. Papu was back kind of in that attacking mid role. So it'd be interesting to see that there's a lot of rotation in Atalanta's team. I think they're going to play their full strength squad against Liverpool at home, but something to keep an eye on. And then Ajax, they've been struck with COVID. I want to say how many? Roughly 11 players.
Yeah, last I heard there was 11 players who had tested positive.
And that includes like the starting goalkeeper Onana and the backup goalkeeper, so they're actually playing their third keeper, and then Tadic, the captain as well.
Yeah, I'd be worried about investing in Ajax assets right now. I know they have a pretty nice fixture in 3 and 4, but all those COVID cases has kind of turned me off just in case. So it's tough, but I think I have to turn away right now.
All right, so let's go over our teams first. I did okay, roughly 53 points. So roughly the same I did match week 2. I had some difficulties over the week. You kind of see me playing Kamavinga. I made a little bit of some errors. I was on the road, so I couldn't check the lineups all the way. Dest also got benched. Luckily, Haaland was consistent with a goal. Mbappe had 2 assists, which was great. Hakimi had a clean sheet. Sergio Ramos came back for Real Madrid. Overall, my team has been kind of hit and miss. Kind of just like I'd say average to below average. I'm not exactly where I would want to be in UCL fantasy. Obviously it's a difficult game. It's kind of like tournament based, where you don't have as much time to change your teams. But Jason, I think you've done much better than me so far, which is excellent. Going forward here for this match week 3, this is my team right now. I'm kind of banking on Real Madrid to do well against Inter Milan. I'm considering for Kamavinga bringing on Valverde, who's a promising midfielder for Real Madrid. And then I also have Chilwell coming on for Hakimi. I'm pretty low on Inter Milan going in that Real Madrid Inter Milan. I could definitely see Real Madrid win comfortably against Inter, who is still they have a different kind of tactics. Conte's trying to do some different tactics this season that hasn't been working out for them defensively. Last year they were one of the best teams in Europe when it came to defense. This year it's totally a different story.
And you're an Inter Milan fan, so you're kind of bashing them as like you watch them week in, week out, so you kind of know these things about them.
Yeah, it's been terrible. I'd say defensively wise has been terrible, and then no Lukaku as well. So I'd say having 2 players from Real Madrid is not a bad idea as they play Inter twice. We don't know how long Lukaku is out. If you see Kolarov starting on the left, that means Real Madrid's right. He's made at least 2 clear errors that have led to goals on the right side. So that's something to keep an eye on. I could see Benzema or whoever Real Madrid play on that right wing, whether that's Rodrigo or someone that could be someone that could profit off that. In terms of my captaincies, Lewandowski, I'm really banking on Lewandowski to do well. He plays Tuesday, and then if he doesn't, I'm going to go with Erling Haaland on Wednesday. Jason, tell me a little bit about your team and how'd you do?
All right, match week 2, only 58 points, so it was a step down from my match week 1. A little disappointing. So I moved to get Kingsley Coman in my midfield. I felt a little unlucky. He only got 3 points. Yeah, I hit the post in Bayern Munich's match and I had another really close chance. So could have been a big haul on a different day, but that's the way it is. Papu Gomez, I mentioned earlier, was not getting quite as involved as he had been previously with the return of Ilicic. Still managed an assist, I believe, but that was it. Haaland is my captain on the second day, got me a goal. So I was pretty happy with that for my captaincy. Sterling, great game from him. I was happy to see that. Got a goal, earned a PK. Jorginho also could have had a huge haul. He missed his PK, obviously. They got taken off right before Chelsea earned another one. So that's extremely frustrating when that happens. And then, Barcelona's keeper Neto got me the clean sheet against Juventus. No saves, I don't think, because Juve couldn't even get a shot on target. They were pretty pathetic. Onguene did not start again, but he did come on as a sub. He's going out on my team. He's a 4.0, but he's not going to be starting consistently, so I don't think I need him. But anyways, after game week 2, I'm wild carding for game week 3. I want to take advantage of the same fixtures in game week 3 and 4 with one team. So here's what I'm doing. I'm going to start off with my forward line. This is where I spent most of my money. I'm going with Lionel Messi at home to Dynamo Kiev. Robert Lewandowski against who is that?
Salzburg.
Salzburg, yeah. And then Cristiano Ronaldo versus Ferencvaros. So I know one thing I'll note on Barcelona versus Kiev. Kiev has had a lot of COVID positive tests. I believe, tomorrow morning they're doing one more round of testing. If they get, I think, one more additional positive, they could potentially postpone the match. So please keep an eye on that. We should hopefully know that news before any matches start. So if you have transfers to make, maybe hold off until you hear that. I'm on my wild cards. I have unlimited transfers, so obviously I can adjust as needed. But if the game does go on, I expect Barcelona to smash them. And I think that'll be a good fixture to target. Ronaldo, we know Juventus are desperate for points right now. They got 2 matches, back-to-back against Ferencvaros. Ronaldo's back. He scored a brace at the weekend. I think he doesn't like that Messi is catching up on him as for his Champions League all-time goal total. So he's going to be extra motivated to smash a few in. Plus, when he was in quarantine, he got a new haircut. He really needs to show that haircut off to the world right now. So I think the best way to do that for him is to score a goal in the Champions League. He's on all the highlight reels then. Everyone sees the new haircut. Number one reason to get him right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely like Cristiano, not for the haircut, but also another thing to mention is he's such a huge differential. Not too many people own him right now, correct?
Yeah, 10% ownership right now. So unless, a bunch of people transfer him in, I think he'll be a good differential this week.
Huge differential. Juventus, obviously, they've had a terrible start to the season, but against minnows like Spezia over the weekend, 4-1 result, Cristiano brace. I could see the same thing in the Champions League. I think he's going to play for sure. I think they'll probably play their strongest lineup, Juventus, because Andrea Pirlo, he's still trying to get this team to gel, trying to get this team to understand his tactics, how he wants to play. So Cristiano, 10% ownership, huge differential. Jason, you also have Joao Felix. Tell me a little bit what you think of him.
He's been on fire lately. Obviously, he had the brace in the last Champions League match. Also had a brace on the weekend, which could have been even more if he had hit his second penalty. I think after that match, Diego Simeone offered him praise. Just kind of talked about how he's really gained that consistency this year, which he didn't quite have last year, which really sounded to me like he's going to keep playing every match at this point and not kind of be in and out of the lineup like he used to be.
Yeah.
But even if that is a worry, tomorrow Atletico Madrid have the early match. So we'll get the lineup information from them while we can still make transfers. So if he does get benched for whatever reason, I can quickly pivot out of him and get into someone like a Marcus Rashford or an Ansu Fati if I need to. So backup options are there, but if he's starting, I really like him for his 2 matches against Lokomotiv Moscow.
And then another thing here, you have a little bit more of a budget option here with Koundé. He's back. What do you think of Sevilla and Koundé?
I love Sevilla and I love Koundé, especially his price at 4. They're playing 2 matches against Krasnodar, who were pretty toothless against Chelsea. Sevilla are already a great defensive team. I think he has huge clean sheet potential over these next 2 weeks, and even the 2 weeks after that, with how good they are, they can get a clean sheet against anyone. So I think at 4.0, if you're on a wild card, he's a definite shoe-in. And the fact that he just got back from COVID means he's not going to contract it again over the international break. So that's not something you have to worry about with him.
Yep, I'd say he's the best budget defender in the game.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our picks for limitless teams, kind of our dream teams. Jason, how about you talk about the forwards?
All right, so 3 of these guys are already in my wild card team. I think if you're on a limitless, I would do the exact same thing I did. Get Lewandowski, Messi, Ronaldo. Alternates for me would be Haaland and Mbappe. Probably I lean a little more towards Haaland just because Mbappe is the tougher fixture. And PSG, from a team context, is just not quite firing on all cylinders yet. So I'd probably favor Haaland over him by a little bit. But for me, it's really the big 3 of Lewandowski, Messi, Ronaldo.
For sure. That definitely seems like a good game plan. We already said Cristiano, how big of a differential he could be. If you had... I wouldn't disagree with you if you took Messi, obviously you have Messi. I wouldn't disagree with you if you had Haaland. The only problem I say with Haaland is the rest of his team attackers don't seem as on form as him, particularly Jadon Sancho. He's kind of had a slow start to the season.
Yeah, he has a little bit.
Speaking here, I'll talk a little bit about the midfielders. Joao Felix, absolute sensation. Ansu Fati, incredible youngster against Dinamo. As long as that match does not get canceled, this is a perfect option here. KDB, expect. Well, I mean, they do play Liverpool, so that's going to be your main concern here. Is will they play KD? Will Mo Salah and KDB play? If they do, I'd expect huge results from them. In particular, Mo Salah, he's been playing that false 9 role that we already kind of talked about. I could definitely see him score huge against a team like Atalanta that they're not as defensively sound in the back, and that's not really their strategy. Their strategy is to score more than you. Jason, tell me a little. What do you think? Anything else on the midfielders, Jason?
Yeah, I'd say like you mentioned, the big watch out on Salah, Fernandez, and De Bruyne. They all have huge haul potential this game week, but they also have huge rotation potential. So it's kind of a risk versus reward proposition there.
Right. I'd say if you're on only like a wild card, spend most of your money on the forwards.
Yeah, that's kind of the route I went. I think you can get some good ball winners or more steady starters in midfield. I will mention my pick of Phil Foden for Man City. He did not start last weekend for them, so I kind of saw him as a safer bet than most for the Champions League fixture, which is why I took him.
And the other thing about Foden is he has played in like a false 9 role for Man City this season, so there could be some returns in him if he plays. My budget options would be Llorente of Atletico Madrid, and then right now I have Valverde from Real Madrid. Jason, tell me a little bit about the defenders.
All right, so defenders, I think the standout to me is Joshua Kimmich, 6.5. I'm a little afraid of the Bayern midfield right now. They have so many great talents, and I feel like rotation could be coming, especially with Dortmund at the weekend. So, the likes of, Coman, Gnabry, Muller, Sane, Costa.
Exactly.
It's hard for me to predict who's going to start. I think Kimmich is the safe choice, and then he feels really secure to me. So I think between him and Lewandowski, that's the best way to cover Bayern Munich right now.
Yeah, for sure.
moving on to Sergio Ramos, I know you mentioned you're not high on Inter Milan right now. I think that's great for Ramos, obviously. And then I don't think there's a defender out there who's more likely to score a goal than Ramos, whether it be PK, free kick, or header from a set piece. So I think if you're on a Limitless, he's a pretty easy inclusion for any team. Jordi Alba, because I really like Barcelona against a depleted Dynamo Kiev, assuming the fixture is played, and Alba is their best attacking fullback. Kind of the same with Kieran Trippier versus Lokomotiv Moscow. I think he's Atletico's best attacking fullback. And really, Atletico's defense has not been, I don't know, too sharp so far this year. They've shipped a lot of goals. I think their clean sheet potential is a bit dented right now. So it's hard to go off Atletico defensively, just given their history. But I think giving the most get the most offensive player in their defense to kind of hedge your bets with Trippier.
Yeah, definitely. They are away to Locomotive too, so it makes it even tougher. It's obviously it's not the same as if you had like the Russian crowd there, with the flares and everything going, but still difficult to that long travel to Russia, and such a difference in temperature too. So tell me a little bit about the goalkeepers. Who do you like on Tuesday? Who do you like on Wednesday?
All right, so we'll kind of divide these up into different days. So Manuel Neuer, Ederson, and Oblak all play on the same day. So you're probably going to want to choose one of those three. And then Keylor Navas and Yassine Buono play on the same day as well, so you'll want to choose one of them. Personally, for me, I'm kind of high on Bono right now because he's playing against Krasnodar. He has Koundé back in his defense, and Sevilla's defense has just been very good so far. So Keylor Navas, I think he has a lot of saves potential, especially against Leipzig. But I feel like he might be the most likely to not get a clean sheet as well, given these fixtures. So I'm kind of leaning Bono between those two. And then if you look at the other three of Neuer, Ederson, Oblak, that's a tough one. I kind of lean towards Neuer, though, for this. But I wouldn't argue either Ederson or Oblak as well. What are your thoughts between those guys?
That's interesting. Yeah, Salzburg is a decent attacking team. I wouldn't be surprised if they score against Bayern. I kind of like, let's see here, Ederson. Oh, I forgot if Man City play home or away. It's the only thing. You're not sure off the top of your head, do you, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head. I know Olympiacos is better defensively than offensively.
Yeah.
So I think that does kind of play to Ederson's favor a little bit.
I would say, yeah, so Man City, they play Tuesday, like we already said, and they play at home. So Ederson at home, I like that one.
Yeah, and then you can kind of avoid the Pep roulette that way, because Ederson is one of the few players who you know is going to play regardless of a fixture at the weekend.
Yeah, and then Kaylor, does Paris play on Tuesday, or they play? No, they play Wednesday, right? Yeah.
Yeah. They
play Wednesday against Leipzig, though. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Keylor has the good saves potential, and last year at least PSG had a great defense. This year it's been
actually
a little bit
one that we don't have listed would be Juventus too. I could see them keep a clean sheet, and what do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that could be a good shout. Get Chesney in there.
Exactly.
Play on day 2.
I mean, there's still some injuries with that team, especially not having. I think De Ligt is actually their best center back. That's a little controversial, whether it's De Ligt or Chiellini. Either way, they're both excellent. But against a team like that, Juventus could definitely keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, I would think so. I'd hope so.
Yeah, exactly. Atletico's a great pick too, and with Oblak, probably the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah, even though Atletico's been a little shaky defensively, he still offers a huge save potential.
All right, just kind of looking ahead then. So it's pretty much going to be the same teams playing each other. So it's a great way to kind of scout if you're looking for maybe playing your Limitless in match day 4 instead of match day 3. Anything else you want to talk about with this match day 4, Jason?
I'm just going to mention, after match day 3, there is an international break. So, injuries and an increase in COVID cases could affect the transfers you make. Like for me, I'm on a wild card for 3 because I want to target both these fixtures back to back. So, I would say have a backup plan in place in case, someone gets hit really hard with COVID or something. So I've still got my Limitless chip. As of right now, I'm thinking game week 5. But if my team gets hit hard after the international break, I could always have that as a backup for match day 4 if I really need it. But I'm really hoping my wild card is going to cover these next 2 game weeks really well.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to play my Limitless on match day 4 and kind of keep my wild card for maybe the round of 8, where we could see some shockers in the round of 16, and I could observe, and by then we know more about the teams, things like that, and it could set me up for the rest of the tournament. I like playing my Limitless match day 4, kind of what I already said, like the whole I can observe how the teams play against each other on match day 3, and then also the international, like you said, the international break. So that'd be we've pretty much seen the trend. 2 international breaks in a row. People get COVID during these international breaks, unfortunately. I don't even know why we're doing that, why UEFA is doing that. Obviously not a great decision, but it will help me with that too. Like, let's say if a 12-point player gets COVID, I could just quickly Limitless to someone else.
Yep. Another reason to have Ronaldo in your squad. He already had COVID, so I think he's going to be safe this international break.
Yeah, I mean, what a differential Ronaldo would. I mean, if you tell me Cristiano is playing Ferencváros
twice,
and less than 10% of people have him, it's almost like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, it seems weird that Cristiano Ronaldo is even a differential, but being out for those first 2 matches kind of kept his ownership down. So I think now is the time to take advantage of that.
I mean, this is just Champions League. The forward spot. You have Messi, you have Haaland, you have Lewandowski. You could take a punt at Suarez. So I mean, this is UCL fantasy, the best of the best.
Yep.
One thing we didn't talk too much about would be, because Man United they did so well. Would you consider any Man United player right now in the UEFA Champions League?
Yeah, I think if I was going to go Man United, given their fixtures against Istanbul, Başakşehir, I think defense wouldn't be a bad idea. So if you're going to go that route, like De Gea is a pretty solid option. Same with Wan-Bissaka at right back. Left back, a little unsure about, just in case Telles and Shaw have to battle that out for a spot. I wouldn't want to invest in that, but Maguire is probably the most secure center back. If you're looking at attack, I kind of feel like Bruno Fernandes is the safe choice. And also, he's on penalties. He has a lot of set pieces. And, even when the team's not in form or he's not in form, he's always getting fantasy returns week in, week out in the Premier League. I mean, we saw against Leipzig, he came off the bench and got immediate fantasy returns there as well. Forwards are a bit more difficult. Right now, Rashford is the man in form and probably the one I would go to, especially if my pick of Joao Felix does get benched. I think my immediate move is him to Rashford.
Okay. Yeah, definitely a team that has had up and down. They've been kind of inconsistent, but they have a high score and goals whenever they do well. So just someone to think about, a team to think about.
Yep.
Especially with that Istanbul. All right. I think that pretty much wraps it up for this match day 3 preview. Jason, any final words?
Yeah, I just say, really keep an eye on the injury report and the COVID reports tomorrow. There's still a lot of unknowns as of right now, even though we're less than 24 hours until the matches start. So really, yeah, just keep informed as much as you can and make any last-minute moves you can. And don't burn your transfers right away as you can hold them. Just be safe.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, let's get ready for back-to-back fixtures.
Yeah, that's it. Green arrows, hopefully for everyone, rising in the ranks. Take care, guys. We'll see you next week with our match day. Or actually, we'll see you before match day 4. So
yeah, we can wait till after the international break.
After the
all that dust settle, then go from there.
Exactly. But we'll expect us to have content regularly before every match day. In the UEFA Champions League Fantasy. It's been a joy to play.
Yep.
And then also, finally, really appreciate the likes and subscriptions. If you guys are enjoying this content, please make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. All right, take care, guys.
All right, see ya.